Hello, Kurt Jackson, retirement income strategist with KJ Financial, here with this week's Your Money Matters. And this week, the topic we're touching on or talking about is, have you parent-proofed your retirement plan? And people kind of get confused when we talk about that, but it seems to be something that when we start having this conversation with people, that they didn't realize that it could be such a big problem, and they want to talk about it and try to find some solutions. So I'm going to ask you some questions as we go along here. And so, do you know what the expiration date is on your parents' financial plan? And if you're married, do you know what that expiration date is on your in-laws' financial plan? Now, I know that's probably not a question that you'd ask, but that's a question you could ask your spouse to ask their folks, because you're married, so his or her parents are your parents too, right? When it comes to them needing things. So what happens if they outlive their money, right? Traditional retirement planning, it's basically designed to try to build up this big pile of money. But when it comes time to start creating an income out of that money, because isn't that really what we want out of the money we put away for retirement? Is it for it to create an income for us that we can live on for the rest of our life and never have to worry about, that pays all our bills and gives us enough money to do the things that we want to do, and maybe even give us enough to leave a legacy behind to our loved ones? Isn't that really what we want it to do? So what happens if they outlive that money? Because traditional retirement planning, when it comes to the income, they don't do a good job of making sure that they're creating the most income from the least amount of your money for the longest period of time. They don't use the guarantees that are available. So and the reason I say that is that means there's a very good chance that your parents or your in-laws don't know the expiration date on their financial plan, because their financial people haven't told them, because they don't know. It's you've got a good chance of not outliving your money. Well, what if we could find ways to make sure that they never outlive that money? What if we could find ways to make sure that they could also increase it to keep up with to help try to keep up with inflation? Because there are strategies and there's financial vehicles out there that allows that to happen. Right. So, all right. So we're living longer. New actuarial tables came out. I guess they came out at the end of last year, and I just started seeing them here in the last several months. A 65-year-old male has a life expectancy of 86.6. A 65-year-old female has a life expectancy of 88.8. So that means that half will will die before that. Half will live past that age. That's what life expectancy is. So should we plan for life expectancy, or should we plan for a lot, longer? That's 21, 22, 23 years in retirement is the life expectancy. So we're living longer, and the way that we're saving for money saving for retirement isn't designed, the traditional way isn't designed to create income for that long a period of time. We're still using stuff that was really designed back in the 50s, 60s, when people were living a lot shorter period of time. Then what happens if for instance, they contract, come down with Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia? What if a stroke that doesn't kill them, a heart attack that doesn't kill them, cancer? What if they somehow become disabled? They can't do 2 of those 6 activities of daily life that constitutes the definition of needing long-term care. So what if one of these things happens and they need extended care? Would that not drain their money faster, or do they have protection? There's long-term care insurance out there, but not that many people have really bought it. It's kind of it's a use it or lose it proposition. It's very expensive. Premiums have been skyrocketing on those because the actuaries, which are the numbers folks for the insurance companies, messed up when they design those long-term care products. So they're jacking the rates on them tremendously. There's other options that can use less of your money that aren't a use it or lose it proposition that can help him. Could help your folks, your parents, your in-laws. So they would have some money, extra money, if they needed that care. So then they have the option. So if you or your spouse has to step out of the workforce to care for them, they have that money to maybe even pay you for it. Or you're going to have options. Maybe they can pay for in-home care. Maybe it's enough to move them into an assisted living, or if they need, nursing care is enough to pay for that nursing care. And that stuff's expensive. I live in Missouri, and 2013, Missouri was the lowest state for the cost of nursing home care. Okay, the lowest state, and it was over $50,000 a year. right? The nationwide average is pushing around 90. So that it's a very expensive proposition. Now, chances are you don't live that long if you have to go to a nursing home, unless you have Parkinson's or dementia. Parkinson's or dementia or Alzheimer's, because those aren't necessarily shortening the lifespan as much as other things do. So it's something to keep keep in mind. So, what if they don't have enough money? What if they run out of money? Who are they going to turn to? Aren't they going to turn to you? Or your spouse? I mean, if it's your spouse's parents, maybe you've got siblings, maybe he or she's got siblings, but they're going to depend on someone. And then, I've seen it. I'm sure you've heard stories where that ends up causing big family rifts, and all kinds of issues can come up with that on who's taking care of mom. And then, they're taking mom's money or whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of arguments that come up with there. Did you know that there are other options? Did you know that some of these options are very affordable, amazingly affordable, and the sooner you get them, the more affordable they are. It's not one you want to wait till you get older, and obviously if you wait till something happens, it's too late to get that protection then. So have you ever asked your parents? Have you ever had a conversation with your parents about this? And I know it's not a comfortable conversation. I've had that conversation. I didn't have to with my dad. He passed away before I got into things, and I remember having to clean up a lot of things after he passed away because he didn't do those things beforehand. So it was rough. It was rough on him. I took care of most of all of it. My mom didn't want to do it. My sister didn't want to do it, so I ended up doing it. So those are things that you've got to keep in mind, that there are options out there, and that you need to have a conversation with your parents. You need to talk to your spouse about having a conversation with his or her parents, because there's just as much risk of them needing help as your folks might. So keep that in mind. We've got some little tools that we've put together that we think can really help. If you want to broach that conversation, or you can call and talk to me, and I can help you have that conversation. But one of the things that we have is called a pressure test. It's a quick 2-minute 10-question pressure test to see if you have your financial plan set up and designed to make it for the long run. I've got a copy of that. I'm happy to email it to you. At the end of this, we'll have my information up there, and you can email me and request that, and I'll be happy to send that to you. If you think that maybe health is going to be an issue, or maybe longevity in the family is an issue, we've got a more detailed, I think it's a 4 or 5 page long-term care planning questionnaire. It takes more than the 2-minute pressure test, but it also is going to tell you more about what your needs are, where your weaknesses are, and all of that. And then there's something that everybody should have, and we call it the estate directory. And it basically is a roadmap where you put all your information in it. So once you're gone, have your parents do it and your in-laws do it. So once they're gone, that you know exactly where everything is. They tell you where everything is. It's kind of a roadmap. At a time when you should be grieving the loss of them, so many people are spending time basically going on a scavenger hunt trying to find all of where mom and dad's stuff is. And this tells them, and it's free. I'll even help you fill it out. And if you do, have me come and help you fill it out. We've got, and I wish I should have brought one with me. I've got it's a flash drive for your computer. It's shaped like a key. It's very sturdy. It's metal. So you can store everything right there and put it in a safe place. Heck, you could hang this on that key rack you probably hang all your keys at. People wouldn't even notice it was up there. Or you could create one of the kind of a neat thing that we do is we help someone write their last letter, what you would want to tell your kids, and your loved ones, the day after you died or the day that you died. So you write that out and you put that in there with it, and then the kids know where everything is. All they got to do is pop it in. So they're not chasing all over the countryside trying to figure out if mom and dad had a safe deposit box in some bank. There's a story where they called over 100 banks around their area because they were just certain that mom and dad had a safe deposit box, but they didn't. Or, well, at least they never found one after calling every bank within the area. So you want to make sure that your kids never have to go through that. So as I asked the question, is your retirement parent-proofed? How about have you parent-proofed your kids' retirement so you don't become a burden financially on them? It's the last thing. I'm a father. I've got two daughters. Last thing I'd ever want is for them to have to take care of me. Okay, we may have that option, and I have enough money put away that I'll be able to help them with that, or to help pay them for doing that. There's that's a different angle to it. So, but it's just something that I don't think it's not an easy conversation to have, but it's something that we, at some point in time, we've got to be financial adults, and we need to have that conversation with your parents. And if you want someone to help you broach that conversation, I'm happy to do that too. So, but that's where we're at this week. I just want to make sure that you've got your retirement parent proofed, and that you parent proof your kids' retirement. Okay, we can kind of take care of that in one fell swoop, and then we'll have to divide and conquer on the details, but we can certainly get that done. I've got my contact information up there. If you have any questions, concerns, want to call me, that's great, or you can email me. You can even schedule an online appointment there with the information that's up there. If you found any of this information valuable, hey, you know what? Send this link to your folks. Send this. Have your spouse send it to his or her folks, your in-laws, and then ask them to watch it. Ask them to spend 10, 15 minutes to watch this, and then have a conversation afterwards. Maybe this will help you get that thing started, because maybe they've been thinking about it but have been afraid to talk to you about it. I just talked with a gentleman that's been a friend of mine for years, and we talked about 6 months ago about doing some planning, and I scared him because I think at that he believed he was going to live forever. And we had the conversation about when he wasn't going to be around anymore, what he wanted to happen, and it scared him. And it took him a while to get over that fear. Now he talked to me the other day and wants to get back and speak with me, about it to make sure he's got his loved ones fully protected. So just something to think about. I think it's really important, and I think it's something that we kind of shy away from because it's a tough conversation, and we can't do that. It leaves too much carnage, financial carnage, in whether it's in your lap or your kid's lap. So keep that in mind. And if you have any questions, like I said, just give me a holler. I'd love to talk to you. And if you found any of this information useful, interesting, pass it on to anyone you care about, your friends, family, coworkers, anyone else that might benefit from this. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you next week.